Hello and welcome to the channel and welcome to another Lost reaction. This is season 1 episode 17 and it is called In Translation. Does that refer to like Lost in Translation? Are we going to get a Jin and Sun story? I'm thinking possibly. Before we go into that, last week's episode, we got a lot of Sawyer's backstory again. A backstory which I completely failed to interpret correctly. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. I just got things jumbled up. I think I failed to realise the relevance of Hibbs giving our Sawyer, the information. I didn't see it as that he was setting him up. So, yeah. But at the beginning of the episodes, I did say that Sawyer is a shoot first, ask questions afterwards sort of guy. And he just about proved that. Although, even if he had asked questions, I think Sawyer was so full of adrenaline. Yeah, the thought that his quest to find this guy was finally over, and a little bit full of hatred of reliving the things that this guy had done in his head, that he probably wouldn't have listened anyway. He probably wouldn't have connected. So the shrimp salesman was as good as dead anyway, I fear. But it does pose a lot of morality questions in this show, doesn't it? You know, we had Sawyer's dealing with the shrimp salesman in the real world. Last episode, we had Charlie dealing with Ethan in a very, very similar way in the jungle world. Very, very different situations. And how I feel about them are two different things. Neither of them are really morally correct. Both of them are, from a human point of view, understandable. But again, doesn't make it any more right. It's a difficult one. It really likes to pose these moral questions, doesn't it? Okay then, we'll move on from that one. We know that Sawyer is deeply troubled. We know why, and in all honesty, I think after what he'd gone through and what he witnessed as a child, he's more together than I think most of us would be in the same situation. Yeah, I think the next gap in Sawyer's backstory that we need filled, whatever that may be, is how he actually became the con man that he so much hated. How did he fall into that? Was it did it start as undercover? Don't tell me. I think I can guess how he got into that world. But that is part of his story that I am looking forward to seeing, because it was obvious that he was already the con man when we saw him in last week's episode. Okay then, other themes I've noticed, aside from the morality one, I've only just noticed that numbers have a theme in Once Upon a Time. As such, I'm going to start retrospectively looking for them in Lost, because I always forget that Lost was actually before Once Upon a Time. So yeah, I don't really know what that's got to do with anything actually, but I suppose it messes with my brain thought process in some way. 815 was the flight number, I think. I'll go back and check on that one at some point. I think it was 815 was the flight number, and also it features in Once Upon a Time, but that's a different series, so I won't go into it. But yeah, it's interesting now. I'm gonna look for others on that on this. I keep forgetting to look for themes because I'm so wrapped up in the actual story that you forget these little throwaway details that the writers put in just for giggles. I've also noticed that the community in the jungle is starting to pair up. Saeed has kind of paired up with Shannon. Boone has paired up with Locke quite seriously. Kate and Sawyer seem to be getting along quite nicely and pairing up. Of course, Claire and Charlie. And then you've got Jin and Sun and Walt and Mike, who are already paired up, which is going to leave Jack on his own a little bit. Mind you, there's others, but I did notice that they were starting to buddy up. The voices in the jungle. And I think only Saeed and Sawyer have heard this now. Is the jungle reflecting, like echoing their thoughts back at them, their fears and insecurities? It all does seem to be based on fear. You know, Walt and his, okay, not fear, maybe sort of negative emotion. Reminds me of another show. But yeah, Walt seems to conjure up bad things when he's angry or afraid. And now we've got these voices in the jungle that, which we don't know what they mean, so let's not go there. And that boar was definitely added in for Sawyer. Boars can be, well, pigs are very intelligent and they can hold a grudge. They can remember stuff. So yeah, I think that boar definitely did have a grudge against Sawyer, and it was personal. Other things, yeah, only one other thing that I can think of, and that is that the raft that Michael was building is nearly ready. I wonder what's going to happen when he tries to launch it. I think bad things are going to happen. Again, this seems to be a template from Once Upon a Time, except it's the other way round, isn't it? They used it on Once Upon a Time after using it here. But yeah, something's going to stop it. Some supernatural or natural force is going to stop them from sailing out to get help. Yeah, I said it in the first episode, and I'll say it again. This does seem to be a Lord of the Flies type of story, but with adults and not children. But otherwise, we're getting presented with the same sort of scenarios: that breakdown of society, breakdown of civility, breakdown of morality, eventually leading to absolute anarchy. Well, we'll see, shall we? Time for this episode. In translation, I think it's going to be a Jin and Sun, because they're the only one that speak foreign languages or don't speak English. They're the only ones that don't speak English, even though they do, really. Jin and Sun backstory or Jin and Sun forward story, I don't know. I would like to get a bit more meat on forward story. I know we're going to have a backstory in every single episode, because that's the way the writers like to do these things, and that's good. But a little bit more focus on the forward story, I'm hoping for, because there's so many questions. I want at least I want at least a clue to work these mysteries out, or failing that, for these mysteries to open out even more, to get even more mysterious, because I'm a masochist, I think. Okay, let's go. Right, Jin. I mean, this is a Jin and Sun story. Or even just a Jin or Sun story. This is where he goes to meet Sun's father.
따님은 제 꿈이니까요. 아버님.
Definitely does love her then. Definitely sincere. But you've agreed to work for him, and what did that mean?
아니 뭐 하고 있어? 정신이 나갔어? 빨리 나와.
그래요. 수영 좀 하고 나왔는데.
아니라고 해?
아니 수영복도 어땠어요 정말?
한국도 있는데 왜 이거
Jesus
입어?
Christ.
우리 가자.
There they go again.
아니
Yeah.
가자.
You think we should do something?
Don't think there's a lot you can do.
이제 남편 말 같지 않아? 이제 너랑 상관이 없는 일인데 왜 끼어들어? I swear to God, you put your hands on her one more time. 네가 뭔데? 이리 끼어들지 마. Hands off.
Don't. Yeah, he's a little bit... doesn't really know what happened there, does he? Father never asked whether he was going to be a good worker, he just asked whether he was going to look after his daughter. So, look after his daughter. So is this it? He sunk himself into his work.
I stuck my nose where it didn't belong.
Don't think it was that.
You must understand
Look, all I
that
understand is that I gotta get this raft finished so I can get my boy out of here and take him home.
when I slapped you, I was protecting you
Oh yeah? From what?
from Jin.
Yeah, he's
You don't
dangerous.
know what he's capable of.
It's not my problem. It's yours.
No, don't be like that, Michael. Read between the lines.
Raft! It's on fire! Look!
What? Who set fire to that? Who would do that? John, you did not. Of course he did. Why would John Locke burn the raft down now instead of just leaving it until...
모르겠어요.
Where is he?
instead...
Where?
Oh, forget
is
it.
he?
Back off.
No, her husband did this and she knows. You trying to protect him now? Is that it?
She was with me.
Walt! The Walt!
공정기기가 나간 걸 제가 미리 체크하지 못했습니다.
자네를 문책하려고 부른 게 아니고 자네 숨진 얘기를 하려고 부른 거야. 이제 자네가 내 새로운
Oh
보좌관이
dear.
되어지게.
This is where it starts, isn't it?
내가 섭섭한 점이 참 많아서 그래.
Oh.
당신 누구시죠? 안녕하십니까. 저는 권진수 일하고 합니다. 무슨 일로 오셨죠? 회장님 밑에서 일하고 있습니다. 비스타 권. 네. 들어오세요.
He didn't know what he was getting himself into, did he?
회장님이 굉장히 섭섭해 하시는데요. 그 말만
But that's not all.
고맙습니다. 고마워요. 회장님께 앞으로는 섭섭한 일 없도록 하겠다고 전해주세요.
That should have set off alarm bells, surely. So there's no way he didn't do it. That's too obvious. Mind you, John Lockett's too obvious.
Messed up my ride, Chief. Folks down the beach might have been doctors and accountants a month ago. But it's Lord of the Flies time now.
It's been Lord of the Flies time for the whole thing. Talk about what you're doing for my father. Does Sun know what her father does? I'm thinking she must do, but
걱정 마.
maybe not.
오늘은 일 안 해.
I think he's, yeah. So you will answer me. I think I've got Jin's father all wrong.
이 사람 데려지죠. 이 사람 하는 거 보고 잘 배워.
Ah. He wasn't supposed to take it so literally. Oh God. So this is what we saw, is it?
많이 처리했더니
잠깐만, 내 말 좀 들어봐. 우리 지금
내일 바로 공장 문 열어.
내가 당신 목숨을 구했다는 거 명심해.
Oh. I see. Yeah. Yeah. And then he comes back. Yeah. Oh my word. So we did get that scene completely wrong.
Michael, take it easy. I'm taking it easy, right? Hey, on, man. Let's slow down. Hey, man. 내가 갔을 땐 이미 불타고 있었어.
Oh dear. I think there's going to be some serious apologising to do. No one likes this. And Walt's getting afraid and scared, I think.
내가 내 손이 이렇게 된 거야. 손을 좀
Stop it! Leave him alone! 뗏목에 대해서 왜 나한테 사실 말해주지 않았죠? 대답하기 싫어요? 나한테 이러는 이유를 모르겠어. 내가 뭘 잘못했는데.
Wow, that's so extreme.
I was
What's...
going to leave you. I was going to get away.
But she's...
You made me change my mind.
Is she actually speaking English
You
right
made me
now?
think that you still loved me.
그러게 넌 너무 늦었어.
It's not... Oh...
Where's your pop?
Down at the beach, I think. Not allowed to leave the cave after dark. You have a dad?
Everyone's got a dad.
Is he cool?
No. No, he's not. Why did you burn the raft, Walt?
Walt burnt the raft?
Don't worry.
I've been moving places my whole life. I like it here.
He does.
I like it here too.
Boat.
So I might have been wrong about Jin. Maybe he doesn't understand English very well. He just knows enough few words. Oh, his batteries have died. Bugger.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, so Jin's backstory. A lot of, I think exactly the same timeline as the last backstory, but from Jin's point of view, or pretty much the same timeline. And we get to see that awful scene, that so worrying scene from last time, from Jin's point of view, and it casts a whole different perspective on the situation. Jin's a good man who's had to do some horrible things for the greater good, you know, the lesser of two evils. Forced into situations beyond his control, and he was actually trying to escape from it. But now he won't talk to Son at all, and he's helping Michael with the boat, which is you know, I thought he was angry. He was going to go off into the woods on his own, the jungle, on his own. But no, he's come back to help Michael build the boat again, or rebuild the boat. So, what's going through Jin's mind now? Where does that leave their situation? I think Son getting back into the bikini and walking around freely and half naked, something that the Son didn't like, Jin didn't like, kind of shows that she's free of him now. But in what way? Has she cast Jin off, or is Jin changing his views? Or is it a little bit of both? I don't know, but Walt burnt down the raft. A child's morality and motivation. Can't really blame him. Well, you can really blame him. It was a stupid move. But from Walt's point of view, from a 10-year-old point of view, it makes kind of sense. Yeah, he does like where he is. He's been moved around all his life. He hasn't really... Is he really known stability? He's known stability, but not perhaps the attention that he craves. His mother did seem to be more career-focused than child-focused. And the stepdad didn't really care that much for Walter in the first place. So now that he's got like the full attention of his dad and in the community and extended family, he doesn't want to lose that. So yeah, I can understand his motivation there. Okay, that's all I'm going to have to say about that. I don't want to dig myself any more holes. Yeah, thanks for watching. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Until then, keep well. Bye bye.